There's another atoll. We got some shots of some clouds over here. Remember the trick, light soda, dark soda. If you got a light water, it's sand, and if you got dark water, that's all coral reef and rocks, and you don't want to be swimming near that. Oh shit. Here's an abandoned landing strip. Look, that used to be like a fence line or something. What? Yeah, I mean, it's gotta just be another bird sanctuary with a small Hawaiian local population. Let's go check out these houses. Go here. Look at all that bird poo. Ah! Oh my god. Well, there's kind of a bird shot. He didn't really come out well. Oh, I've seen this spot before. There's another little peak right here that comes up, but not a lot. But as you can see, the waves are coming at this little mound from all directions. Right there. We got another teeny tiny island. Wait, do we? Or is that a cloud? Oh, Necker Island. Shark Bay, West Cove. It looks mysterious. Looks like people would hide treasure on this island. It's just out in the middle of nowhere. It's wild. This, I don't know what this is. Oh, Nihoa. I want to say this is the ones I haven't really heard of, those are usually the ones that are wildlife reserves, or only locals can live there, you know? And I don't see any houses. I want to say this is a wildlife reserve as well. There's not even a really good shot of it. The camera is all distorted right here. Nihoa. Interesting. Some people would say they get island fever when they move to the islands, but really I don't see how that's possible. When you get into these bigger islands here in a minute, you'll see there's a lot to do on some of the islands if you are considering moving there or even just going there to visit. I personally appreciate nature and wildlife conservation, so you're just checking out these little tiny islands, but if you were to live there, most mainland people would probably go for Oahu and Honolulu because there's so much to do there. Now here's another one. I don't know. I've never seen this before. It almost looks like it's all in shadow. Look at that. It's like blackened. It really didn't want its picture taken this day. Alright, well, Niihau is the first island to be purchased in Hawaii for $10,000 in gold to like a Scottish woman. And the king at the time said, the people who live on this island are now your subjects, and you've got to take care of them and promise to always do what's in their best interest so that they can survive if Hawaii is not as strong in the future as it is now, is what that king said. And so that those are her subjects and she needed to care for them like her children. And I believe the same family still owns this island, and the locals do follow some basic rules that they put in place. And I believe that is like the men can't have long hair, or piercings. There's no tobacco or alcohol brought to the island or marketed to those people. And I think you just have to go to church every Sunday. I think those are pretty much the rules. And it's really simple living, and everyone there, because it is so untouched, it's a small population, but everyone there speaks fluent Hawaiian. And a lot of them play guitar. They have a lot of spare time because they don't all have cable and stuff. They have internet and cell phones, but it's very limited. So a lot of them, like this guy here, they all have solar panels on this island. So when hurricanes hit the islands, a lot of the other islands take a while to like get back up and running. But apparently these guys, it only takes them like a few days because they work on getting their own water. Everything is done through solar panel. They have horses for transport, like they don't have any cars on the island, I believe. Here's this, right on the edge of a cliff. Whew. An epic place to live. And they're all geared up. I don't know if this is an observatory, what this equipment is actually for, but there's your solar panels right there. It's pretty amazing. When you take the time to actually travel some of these little back roads, you'll find some really cool stuff, and it just gives you a glimpse into the lives of other people and how other people see the world and what they do with their time, you know, just where they are, what they're surrounded by. It always has an influence on who you are. Living in a beautiful place here, I mean, it's pretty easy to be nice and kind to one another. Oh, I think I remember here, let me show you something. Where is it? Wait, is this it? Nah, that's just some rocks. I found a shipwreck. Oh, it's right here. It's a crashed boat. I joke that this is some bones of some unwanted hauleis who weren't wanted. I wonder if even the locals know that that's just there. And here's this little guy. Lehua? Doesn't that mean beautiful flower or something? This is when I need Andy Bumatai to help me out. Look at this, incredible. Of course, I doubt there's any house built on this rock. Like, this is still pretty rugged. There's a water chute. I'm sure the waves blast up real high when they rush through here. Like a whale spout. What's that one island that has that feature where like the water just kind of shoots up almost like a whale blowhole? I doubt it's that one, but that's what it reminds me of. What's our next island? Kauai? I always make fun that Kauai is, it sounds like kawaii in Japanese, because you have kawaii, which is cute, but then you have Kauai, and that means scary. Now, I know that this area, the top of these mountains, is one of the wettest places in the world, but this, oh, lots of national parks. You can see forest reserves all around here. And in Hawaii, you don't just have forests. You have forests that are made entirely of like fern, and it's just beautiful. It's so lush. There's some farmland. Waimea. I know there's some good surf in Waimea. I'm trying to think, what can I show you guys here? Well, I mean, Captain Cook's dumbass landed here, so that happened. But no one cares about him, so... See? Oh, Fern Grotto. Let's just drop in here for a second and see, like, what's here. I could go through this island for days, I just never have. I mean, I think I've gone coastal and like looked at some of the mountain ridges, but and of course it's full of tourists. Oh, see you guys, see what I mean? Oh, look at that. Oh, beautiful. This guy's like, I'm gonna be famous. All the tourists are in the way. Someone should really be going around and retaking all these pictures right now while everyone's in quarantine. Oh, and this is just a thick river. Everything is just kind of encompassed in cloud. Like I said, it is very humid here, so of course it can't be taken on a non-cloudy day. And the thing about Hawaii is when it rains, the rainfall actually is warm and light, unless it's like a downpour. I mean, yeah, it's gonna get a little cold and wet and stuff, but you can still walk through a light, rainy, cloudy day in Hawaii and not really collect much moisture on your body, and it's just, it never drops below like 70 degrees. I mean, if it's below 70, like that's really, really cold for Hawaiian people. And keep in mind, a lot of them have never seen natural fallen snow. They don't have snow in Hawaii. And they don't really have seasons either. Like fall and like a white Christmas just doesn't happen there. I think there's a, oh hey, here's a lighthouse for anyone who's interested in that. Ah, look at that giant glass in there. Lighthouses are amazing. I'm sorry, that's a very underrated opinion. Very unpopular opinion, but those who can appreciate a lighthouse. It also makes me think of that Nickel Creek song. Not Nickelback, Nickel Creek. It is a bluegrass band. They wrote a song called The Lighthouse's Tale, and it's such a sad story, but so beautiful. And I always think of that song when I look at a lighthouse. It's so romantic in such a sad way. You know that rock kind of looks like a whale. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Let's get north again. Ah, Hanalei Bay. Ooh, look at these plots right here. They're like in giant triangles. That's lovely. Now before you had Google Earth, like the only way you could see this sort of view is from the helicopters or airplanes that you're coming in on. And so every time we were going, I always wanted a window seat so I could just look at these colors and patterns. And there would be entire mountain ranges just covered in these squares. It's incredible trying to guess like the vegetation. Sugarcane and pineapples being one of the bigger crops that they have here. I believe these are some surfers chilling on their boards, waiting in a lineup. Kauai. And here we have Oahu. A lot of farmland here. If you notice, you have the Dole Plantation. First thing though that comes to mind for pretty much anyone is Pearl Harbor. And this entire place, you could go through here all day and still, not get enough information. It's just, there's so many monuments and so many little places to see. And one of my favorite, of course, is the SS Arizona, which this little docking port lets you stand right over the shipwreck. And you can see the boat from end to end. And if I do a 3D view, here we go. It's a pretty incredible place to stand, to witness for yourself. And it's just a big reminder. War really changed Oahu, and Honolulu is basically one of the biggest cities because of this history. It's a huge tourist spot, and people who move to Hawaii tend to move to this island because it has all the economy they need. You know, restaurants for when they're bored, some people need to just run businesses, and that's just the best place for them to be. So if you're prepared to face traffic and drive through almost city conditions, small city, but still city conditions, it's a really amazing place to go. Even if you're visiting a different island, I suggest like a hopper plane that'll take you over there and rent a car for the day and just drive around. There's Honolulu. As you can see, it's very built on. Now this is one of the coolest coastal areas too, because you have this amazing crater, Diamond Head crater here. And if you're wondering what it looks like being inside the crater, wait for it. Yeah, okay, yeah, there we go. It just looks like a mountain range all around you. It's such a vast area. It doesn't even seem like it from the map. And from Waikiki, you have this amazing view of it. Drop ourselves down here. And there it is. There's Diamond Head crater right on the edge. Almost just looks like a peak of mountain, but when you're in there, you just look like you're surrounded. You're just in a massive valley. I wonder what else I could show you that's a pretty cool touristy thing. What do people like? Here we go. Kualoa Ranch, there you go. Now what's so special about this place, you might ask? Okay, I'm glad you asked. This is where a great deal of Hollywood films that need a tropic region for their background will go to for filming. So if you are familiar with my absolute favorite, Jurassic Park, or Tropic Thunder, King Kong, I mean, I can't think of any more at the moment, but you've definitely seen this mountain range a few times. Within this valley and around this area, a lot of filming has taken place, and a lot of helicopters have flown over this area for a lot of different set reasons. Actually, it's been rumored, and I don't know if this is still true to this day, but when Hollywood would come and film in Hawaii, sometimes the camera crews are blessed by a Hawaiian priest so that no bad luck or disrespect comes to the island while they're filming and the crew is on set. So this place is a big deal. If you're ever interested in getting a shot where you can pretend you're in Jurassic Park or something, Kualoa Ranch is the place for you. And this mountain range is just incredible anyway. There's this little path right here. Ooh, let's go on the ridge. I'm down for that. Also, there are a great deal of native species of plant on these islands that are near extinction. A great deal of their birds and wildlife have become extinct in the past few hundred years, and all the ones that are not gone are on the endangered species list. So the vegetation here is very unique, and so are the birds. Look at that guy rubbernecking. Oh, it's incredible. Now, I want to take you to my favorite place on Honolulu. If I can find it. Oh, I'm not north. I always get turned around when I'm not north. Oh, it's like one of my favorite places and I can't even find it. I'm so ashamed. Alright, We're typing it in. There you are. How far off was I? Oh man, it was so far. Okay, but that's not the one we are going to. We are going to this guy right here. Beautiful koi pond and the Valley of the Temples. Bet you didn't expect to see that in Hawaii, did you? Like I said, the culture is multifaceted, and there's a lot of Asian ethnicities who live in Hawaii, and to make this temple for them in such a beautiful place that is so noble, and I love this. Oh, this whole place is wonderful. And you can just stroll through here. I think I have to pick up my little guy and move him around. One thing I've noticed, these head posts are teal in some shots, and in other shots, because they're older, they're actually yellow. And it's always bothered me. Bothered me enough that I've actually taken the time to stare at them every time I'm here on Google Earth. And see, they're yellow. It's so different, and it bugs me. I think in some of these photos there's actually scaffolding in front of the building because they were doing touch-ups or probably painting. There's a really cool little Buddha statue here. There. He has a nice little lei flower necklace draped across him. And another thing to notice and acknowledge around this area is this incredibly vast and beautiful graveyard. All of this is graveland property. All of these graves. What a beautiful place to be buried, right? Those are some very lucky souls, no matter what happened to them in life. I mean, you lived in Hawaii. You had a beautiful luck of the draw there. It's amazing. And see, this is why it's impossible to say how many islands Hawaii has, because some of these are not exactly full-blown islands, and some are just islands cut in half so we could get some boats through there, so I can't give you a definitive number. Alright, goodbye Oahu. Alright, now to one of the more serious islands of Molokai. After people had come over to the islands and spread disease, they did the unfortunate thing of separating Hawaiian families from each other because of leprosy. Anybody who had it basically was brought to this island, torn away from their families and isolated here. And not only that, but it also displaced local fishing communities as well when this did happen. The first people were dropped off at Kualoa, and there were only 9 people, and they kind of didn't have anywhere to port, so they just dumped them in the water and just told them good luck. But the peninsula of Kalaupapa is entirely, surrounded by cliffs, so I'm not quite sure how familiar the other islanders in this area were with what was going on, but the majority of lepers did stay in this area of Kalaupapa. I believe it's on this side, actually. This is a mass unmarked grave that at one time had a lot of headstones made of wooden crosses. You can even see there are remnants of some other sites, grave sites right here. But this giant rock wall in this square are a mass unmarked grave of people we've lost from leprosy who were, you know, taken from their native islands. And it took us a long time to really appreciate, you know, just how messed up all of that was. And over here is some priest that came to help the lepers, and his body was buried here, but he was taken back to his native country, but they brought back his right hand and reburied it here, so just his right hand is buried here, and I guess he's a saint now, but, you know, fame and glory, who gives a shit? But this is such an amazing place. It's really sad to think about what happened here, but it is an important place to see, and a very monumental island. These people, it's a very small population. The people who still live here, they don't like tourists, but they do definitely know how to have a good time. Oh, here it is. Check these guys out. All having a crazy party. These guys are like racing or something. Kapui Beach. Like, you guys know how to party. And I think some of these people may even live on their boats. You could see the line where this anchor is weighed down. I think I saw, yeah, there's some like long boats here too, and surfers. Everybody's just out on the water. They may be a little secluded, but that's the way they like it, you know? Keep things simple. They don't like industry. I believe there's only one hotel on the entire island, if I'm not mistaken. I think these people are just as traditional as possible and like to be left alone, so let's leave this island in peace.